Hello and welcome. My name is Laurel Papworth. I am Silk Charm's real life avatar and a Metaverse consultant, mentor, as well as a social media expert, and I run training and courses. In today's Metaverse news, I want to go back to some old news because I'd like to cover what's happening in Australia with regards to NFTs, and the Metaverse and Web3 and things like that. So today's story is about agave spirits from Top Shelf, which is an Australian company. They launched NFTs and sold them out. And I want to explain the NFTs with regards to the spirits. It doesn't matter that it's spirits. It's the idea of how you twin the NFT with other things. So we're going to talk about adopting agave plants, checking on them with a drone, and some other fun things, and then see how the agave spirits, NFTs, and Top Shelf work. Top Shelf International, TSI, have Ned Whiskey and Grain Shaker Vodka, and an agave project, which is the one I want to talk to you about. If you go to nft.australianagave.com.au, you can see the NFTs. They're also available on OpenSea. With the Australian Agave NFT, each token holder, so each person who holds the NFT, is given 10 geotagged plants. So similar to the Australian Open, I guess, there'll be geotagged, geolocated, which is around 35 litres of the agave spirit. And that will be harvested and distilled from August 2023. So you bought them December the year before. You're playing the long game here. And then they'll be harvested and distilled in August 2023. The first release is available, or was available. It's sold out now for $10,000 for the 35 litres each NFT gets you. And that's around $285 per litre, I believe. Yeah, it's late in the day. My math's not good. If you hold the token, you get personalised updates on your little plants, which includes drones flying over the plants and presumably reporting back on their behaviour. So cute. But seriously, this leads me to believe that all kinds of organizations and companies could become DAOs, because if you think of decentralized autonomous organizations and the voting rights and the right to transparent information, if you're a token holder, anybody who's willing to pay $10,000 owns the plants or owns that section, square footage, gets a product at the end of it. So it's something like Kickstarter, but the next generation up. And if it was pushed into a DAO, if a distillery or winery became a DAO, then each token holder would earn the right to vote on certain things before the winery. I personally have worked in wineries since I was 14, and there is a certain culture around the vintner and who it is, the personal brand of the person creating the wine. And so it's a little bit like a fashion label. That might not mean much, but the idea that you bring an external designer into the company to reinvigorate a fashion brand, you could do the same thing with a winery, but now you're going to ask the people willing to put their money where their mouth is, literally, and pay to make decisions about, I don't know, what grapes to grow, or whether we should do agave, or whether we should do something else, and what we should make or what we could make. I will say there's a lot of education in having a winery or distillery. So only the hardest core aficionados, passionate about wine, passionate about creating alcohol or tasting alcohol or being part of the community, being part of the industry, are probably willing to pay the $10,000 for a token in order to have shares in the company. But I could see it working, and I definitely think that some smart, enterprising vintner out there will try something like that. I don't know what they're called when it comes to spirits. I only know the wine side, but you get the general idea. So it's interesting that the first release of the tokens at $10,000 each for the Eden Lassie, I don't think it's a distillery, farmlands, whatever it's called, up near the Whit Sundays that have the agave on them sold out. That's brilliant. I believe they said that the tokens expire once August 2023 arrives. I hope that's not the case. I hope that you get some kind of a token, even if it's a alumni style token. But yeah, what an interesting and unique concept. I've not heard of this anywhere else. That doesn't mean it's not happening elsewhere in the world, but I think that it's something that maybe the food and beverage or the alcohol industry could look at in the future and build upon. For more Metaverse news for Australia and beyond, for information on my courses, workshops, presentations, keynote presentations, and all the other stuff I do, please follow me on my socials and check out my playlists. See if there's something there that helps you. Look at my featured video list on LinkedIn, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.